introduction because we don't know each other. The reason I wanted to connect with you is because I think we like the same things and I think we don't like the same things.
That sounds accurate.
I was like,
love and rage.
yes. I was like, these two angry ladies sound up my street. But we'll do a wee intro for everyone because yous are doing super well now. Yous have been about for a while though, but seem to have, are yous like peaked? Are you having like your season?
Yeah, I think we've found a rhythm that works. We found a mixture of content that we do well, that we believe in and can stand behind, and that of course, we're mostly on Instagram, and that's where we get a lot of people, who didn't ever hear of us before on our radar, or we're on their radar. Instagram obviously dictates what type of content it will show people. So because we are angry and because we
the algorithm loves it.
We have found that the response reels, we can do them. I love to argue. That's like in my blood.
Are you? You're like my wife then, because I'm not confrontational, but I'm.
Yeah,
she's the
that's
arguing
me.
one.
That's me and Laurel.
Yeah,
right.
Laurel's like the fucking Rottweiler, and I'm behind her being like, "Yeah, get him."
I'm that too. Yeah, tell her.
Yeah, and Sarah's the funny, silly one who like takes digs, but you're like, did you just take a dig at me? And why am I laughing?
Yeah, you come in like the wrecking ball.
Yeah. But we also teach people what to do. We don't just teach them who to avoid. So we have to also dose in content that actually teaches people stuff.
Yes.
Otherwise they get mad.
Yeah,
it's a busy job, isn't it?
Because we're teachers, like our bread and butter is actually teaching you what to do. But Instagram really rewards posts that tell you what not to do. Right?
Or who not to like.
It's the negative media, isn't it? We love it.
Balance,
Yeah. But have you been a duet together for like a lot of years, like teamed up together?
Yeah, since 2017 officially.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. Are we coming up on 10 years of this?
We are. We are working together. Movement Logic is going to be 10 years old pretty soon. That's crazy.
How did you find each other? If obviously you're in different time zones.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I knew we were because I've listened to your podcast. I'm like, she just goes with it. So.
I just go straight into it. That's my favorite to do. That's my favorite.
I was just checking.
You're just like eating and like putting deodorant on. I love to catch people in their natural habitats. So I was just wondering how you used to meet.
Sorry.
Yes.
May I ask also, are we recording video or just audio?
Video, but you can still eat your berries or whatever you're having because it is early in the morning for Sarah use. I mean,
it is. So I'm doing this over breakfast.
So do what you want. That's okay. But I was wondering how you used to
I finished my banana off screen, thankfully.
Yeah, we're charging extra if you're eating a banana on screen, you know what I
mean? We met, to answer your question that you're so desperately trying to get us to answer.
Yes.
We met because we were both yoga teachers initially, and we both were teachers of a method called Yoga Tune-Up, and we met at basically one of their kind of conferences. But at the time, well, what's funny is Laurel and I both lived in New York City as yoga teachers for a long time without really knowing each other. But it wasn't until we became yoga tune-up teachers when I was in Los Angeles already that we met through that. And just sort of over a few years, just sort of like keeping an eye on each other. Well, that's interesting. What's she up to? And then we started Movement Logic in 2017 with another friend of ours, Trina Altman. And we have been around for a while, but we've sort of found our groove. This is sort of what it feels to me like it's actually our groove. But we started out making continuing education content for yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, personal trainers, physical therapists, right? Just kind of, and we did a bunch of tutorials. We did like 6 of them over, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we sort of got to a point where we're like, well, we feel like we're done with that. What are we more interested in? And we had both become a lot more interested in teaching people and teaching women in particular how to lift weights, how to use barbells. And so that's how we decided to start our online barbell lifting course, which is called Lift for Longevity. And we've done that for a few years now. How many have we done? 3 or 4 cohorts? I don't remember.
I think we started in 2022. I don't know if we launched in 2023, but we
I think
started
23 was the first one. Yeah.
22. But I
I think
think
we've
that
done, yeah.
23, I think we've done like 4 or 5 cohorts.
Yeah.
So user from like the yoga, which is quite like wellnessy. Like I don't know if you over
Yeah.
here
Oh,
like the
yeah.
yoga teachers. I mean,
Wellness.
I have to tell you something. I don't know if you know this about me, but I mean, I have been a victim of the wellness industry, but it was actually a yoga teacher who thought it was a good idea for me to do coffee enemas, which I
Oh,
Oh,
did
fuck's
do,
sake.
wow.
which I did do, which I
Sorry.
did do.
You did do it.
Oh,
Yes, quite
may
regularly.
I,
That was my
may I
Sunday
ask a,
morning.
Wow.
may I ask I have several questions.
I know we haven't even warmed
Well,
up. I've just
Well,
told
I
you
mean, maybe
this.
this, I know, sorry, I should buy you dinner first, but do you,
Yes.
so you have to buy the materials to give yourself an enema, which I'm
Yes.
assuming is like a funnel and a tube,
So yeah,
and
I
then you
mean
pour in coffee down. Is the coffee warm?
the coffee, I mean
Does it matter?
the coffee is lukewarm because
Mm,
this, I mean, right, so this was just feeding into a very toxic, obviously, thing that I had going on. So the coffee enema, it made me feel a bit thinner. This was a long time ago. So I was like, ah, yes, every Sunday morning in the
right.
name of health,
Mm-hmm.
hashtagging it. But it wasn't really, it was just my terrible relationship with myself and
Well,
stuck
and
in the
somebody
wellness
taking
industry.
advantage,
Yeah. Well, I
you
mean, I
know.
could have said, no, I will just go for a coffee, not that, no, well, let's put up our arse, you know. So,
yeah.
yes, you
Listen,
have to buy the apparatus is from Amazon and it's actually only
oh,
£9 US.
oh, it's a
But
bargain.
I know, but I used to get this parcel through the door and I did find it strange because it used to have like two men on the front, kind of like looking seductively into the camera, like
Yeah,
holding each other. And I was just like, well, that's weird. Anyway, pink up there. So,
right.
yes, so the coffee enemas were something that I have done, and it
Well,
was a yoga
Did
teacher.
you get like a really quick
like
hit
caffeine.
that way? Because
Yeah.
I've heard actually
Yeah.
it's dangerous because you can actually OD on caffeine if you take too
Yeah.
much of it.
Can I tell you, it was
It's a
two
really
litres.
fast way to get it in
2 liters?
2 litres used to. Two
Oh,
litres.
well,
A
that
litre.
seems dangerous because, well, I guess it all
Yeah.
mostly comes out, right?
I mean, like, I definitely got rid of a lot of memories from childhood down the toilet because it's quite intense
I
to come
mean,
out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, so I mean, it's a 2 litre bag of coffee
uh,
and
Jeez.
you have to lube up the tube, which obviously I use coconut oil use because health, you know,
Right, of
bulletproof
course.
coffee, just to a
Right.
different level. So you've got to
You
lube
would
up.
not, no seed oils to
Not,
lube up
no,
your,
no
God, no.
way, no way. No, I mean, I draw the line.
well, coconut is technically a seed.
I mean,
Don't make sense, Laurel. Don't make sense.
I'm
I mean, I
lying in the
think
floor with
yes, right?
coffee going up my ass, right? Nespresso advert pending. So I've had to lube it up. You had to get rid of the air because I don't know if you have ever passed wind in reverse, but it's not good having air going up that way. So
No
I had
shit.
to let out the air, and then that's when the process would start. You would lie on the floor, you would take the 2 litres of coffee in there, switch off it, and then lie on your right side. And then you have to hold it in for as long as possible. And the longer, apparently, the better.
God.
So,
Yeah.
I'm
uh,
so
what
sorry.
what
Yeah.
did you what changed where you realized like, well, I shouldn't be doing this anymore? I
Um,
guess I'm going to interview you now.
yeah, this is what's happened now. I knew that this would come up at some point. Probably my wife, when I met her and I was like that, would you like to come for coffee? And then she came over to my flat and I had a blue bag waiting like that. Ready? She's like, well, no. So I thought, nah, and I'll need to draw the line. This is obviously quite strange and weird. But I mean, this was like 15 years ago.
Right.
And at the time, I've been a coach for 20 years. So there was a lot of muddling up for me. And I've promoted that to clients at some point as well,
Right.
which, you
Yeah.
know, is you have
It
to
is epic all over.
backpedal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I can
think,
think back to
yeah.
like 100 things I used to teach and say that I'm like, oh, I
Oh,
can't, like, I can't believe I used to
yeah.
tell people this, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
it's not right. But I
If
didn't know,
I,
you know.
yeah, I feel like if I want to have a cringe moment in the middle of the day, I'll just think of some dumb shit I used to say as a yoga teacher. And then I like shudder
What
with the
was
pain
things?
of the
Are
memory.
you going
Oh
to talk
God.
about cleansing your liver, doing the tree pose?
No, no. I did one time do a liver cleanse.
See,
I did what's the stupid one where it's like
the Epsom
lemon
salt.
juice? No, it's like lemon juice.
And is it cayenne pepper?
Cayenne pepper.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Oh, the
I've done it.
Master Cleanse. That's
I've
what it was
done it.
called.
I've
Master
I
done
did
Cleanse.
that
it as
one.
well.
I did that one. I basically turned gray
Yeah.
after like 3 days of not eating solid food. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody else was basically like, "You don't look well. I think you should
What was
eat."
the yoga studio you were
I
a
was a
teacher?
teacher at Jiva Mukti
So
Yoga, which was.
Jiva Mukti is super okay.
Do you
Maybe
want to
this
explain it, or do you want me to explain it as the
like
person
super.
who?
It's super woo, right?
Super
Oh,
woo, like
it is the
coffee
definition
enema.
of woo. Listen, when in our teacher training, we had a day where they separated. There's like 100 of us. They separated the men and the women. The men went off with David Life, the male teacher. The women stayed with Sharon. We all stripped down and dry brushed ourselves together. I mean, it was there was a lot of, yes, exactly. You're both making the right face for that experience.
I
think
think
back.
that's happened to me at the gay bars before, but I'm not sure in a fitness sense. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was right. So the
But there
circle of
was
the dry
also, yeah.
brushing.
I mean, there's the stuff like this where you can kind of look back and laugh, but there was also a lot of very not only unhelpful, but toxic behavior going on. And things like, I have a history of pain with my hip. I actually have a hip replacement. Like I have actual anatomical, physiological issues. I did my teacher training well before I got any actual like care for it. And I would tell my mentor in the teacher training, like, I'm sitting in meditation and my hip is killing me. And the response was basically just do it longer until it stops hurting. So
Oh,
none of them had any idea what they were doing, and they had no
yes.
business dispensing any advice like they did. I didn't know enough at the time. And it's a very sort of like cult adjacent,
Yes.
it's a very sort of like, there's two very charismatic leaders, and everyone just kind of shut up and did what we were told,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's one end of the spectrum, the other end of the spectrum was where I was, which was very corporate. We had
Oh,
HR, we had studios all over the country. We were the second largest yoga studio in the world, Yoga Works. And I was the alignment police. I was trained up to be like alignment police. And so cringe in a different way, but like I think Sarah's stories are way more interesting
yeah. The
from
dry
her
brushing
more
circle.
cult adjacent yoga experience. Mine was more of like a corporate neoliberal, like
Okay.
bottom line, profit is everything type yoga experience.
So you don't have you haven't been such a victim of the wellness industry.
Because of the corporate structure, I think that I was shielded from a lot of the, you know, bordering on abusive
Yeah, okay.
cult tactics and like
The woo.
sketchy eating disorder adjacent,
Yes.
yeah,
harassment adjacent,
yeah,
because of like the fact that there was accountability kind of built into the company. But I was, probably manipulated in a different way, right? Which is like closer to how we're all kind of manipulated
Hmm.
when we're a part of some like profit-driven company. But I can't say that the entire experience was bad. In fact, I would actually have to say that most of it was good. Like I learned a ton about myself in movement and teaching and being with people and being in the room with people and like people, even in these like imperfect conditions. But it's fun to talk about this because the yoga world is just so what it's like. There is no single. If you say I did or practiced or taught yoga, like nobody should know what that means. Like no one should have a clue what that actually means until you actually like explain what that means.
yeah,
Like here were the rules of my yoga culture.
right.
Uh,
It's I think it's the wellness industry kind of across the board, isn't it? Like, what is the wellness industry? What is it for? What does it do? Because I do feel like it's not keeping us that well, you know?
No, not at all. I mean, and I think, for as like bananas cuckoo culty indoctrination that I received, they were really shitty business people.
mm,
But the exact opposite, sort of Laurel's experience, was in some ways part of how what we call the wellness industry blossomed, because people were taking something that was supposed to be a personal, uh, uh, I don't know, transformative, for lack of a better word, non-profit goal oriented practice like yoga, right? In theory.
With
And they were
indigenous
like,
roots.
yeah, yes, with indigenous roots that got completely,
Yeah, yeah,
dissolved, right?
Yeah.
And they said, how can we monetize this?
Mhm.
Right.
yeah.
So they were like, how do we get people in more classes? How do we open more studios? How do we
The
create a training where
investors gotta
everybody's the
say.
same?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Marketing
Exactly.
companies came in.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this idea of wellness has been around forever, but what's so interesting in the United States is that there's such a distrust of what they would call Western medicine in a lot of different ways, right? There's like the sort of far right, vaccines are bad for you, COVID was a lie people. But there's also a bunch of those people on the far left as well. And so it's the Ouroboros where they actually start to like
Yeah.
merge and become the same thing.
Yep.
It's this distrust of experts that we
Mhm.
really saw happen a lot during COVID here in particular. I don't know what it was like in other countries,
Yeah.
but that's
Same.
definitely fed this kind of thing where people are like, no, 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 don't trust the doctor. I have this,
Yes.
ancient seaweed technique or something,
Mhm.
and then people are like, ooh, it's ancient. It's, it's indigenous or whatever.
Yeah, it's
It's
natural.
natural. It's all those,
Yeah.
buzzwords. But it's all total bullshit.
Well, I mean, the point is the wellness industry is worth trillions, like
Yeah.
trillions, but they won't pay for any studies to be done. Like, that's a red flag, is it not? Like, if you were going for a job interview,
They've done plenty of studies,
but they're
right? So
hiding them like that. Don't we
actually
dare.
that's what makes it really tricky, and it makes it really hard for people who don't have a science background to understand the difference between, quality and not quality or
Yeah.
poor quality studies. The wellness industry actually pumps out a shit ton of poor quality studies. And these are studies that are funded by the wellness industry, but these are also studies that are like put into journals that they have to pay to get into. These are studies with no peer review. These are non-peer reviewed studies. These are studies that are junk, basically, just total
Yes.
garbage. But if you don't have a background, you just Google or go to PubMed or whatever. Like all of this stuff can be found in PubMed too. That's another thing that's kind of tricky is like it legitimizes it in a way, and you don't know, right? You don't know that like actually the difference between this terrible study and this good study is like a universe of
Yeah.
knowledge and a universe of epistemology and like there's a universe between them. But if you don't have that background, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So part of changing anything is education, and part of what getting out of the misinformation shithole that we've all been sucked into is learning about science and learning how what it actually is and how it works when it's working well. um, and that I think that whole process is going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to need people who are able to communicate it palatably, simply, and clearly, which thankfully we do have scientists and doctors who are able to do that, stepping into the influencer space to help
Yes.
clean up the mess.
Yeah.
Our whole modus operandi is, we can hang with interpreting some research, and we can definitely make things simple and easy to understand, but we definitely want to also platform the true experts in that arena, which are the people who are actually doing the
Yeah,
science, who
they've
have
done
actually like spent their
they've done the
entire life
PhDs. Yeah. Yeah.
doing the science, right? That's not us, but
Yeah.
so we recognize that we're a certain rung on the ladder, but we hope to be able to platform those individuals and share what we can in a way that is palatable and fun and funny and actually
That's the
entertaining.
key.
Yeah. And
You
I
know,
think as well, part of why it's something that both of us are decently good at is we're teachers.
yeah.
So we're good at taking information and translating it to people and explaining, okay, what that means is this kind of thing. And we do that a lot in our podcast. We do that a lot on social media. And as Laurel was saying, what do you call it? Edutainment, where it's
Yes.
like, it's
Infotainment,
entertaining.
edutainment.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I mean, you've
edutainment
got
is a better
to. I
word.
mean, it needs to be
Yeah.
like a scroll stopper. Which a
Yeah.
lot of the time the wellness industry have marketed it bang on brilliant. I mean, look at you guys. You have the advert with, like Kid Rock and the
Hmm.
guy in the jeans getting
Oh
in the.
God. Yeah.
What's happening over there? What's going on?
It's
I thought that was
we don't
I
want
thought it
to.
was a spoof because I do a lot of kind of crazy wig weird things on my Instagram just as a funny. But you
They're really
guys, that
easy
was
to make fun
serious
of.
for you. That's a serious.
They're really easy to make fun
But that was a
is because
serious advert.
unfortunately, like people who are really deeply insecure and who don't know a lot but think that they do and present themselves as they do are just so obviously um, off base and ridiculous and frankly just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that they don't see it that way. So
No.
Well,
hey, you got to
yeah.
give it to them. Like they have a lot of confidence. That well,
Yeah.
at least they exude a lot of confidence, right? But I mean, it's
Yeah.
frankly, it's just so embarrassing.
I
It's
think
the
so.
confidence of a mediocre white man, you know?
Yeah. It's
But
like an
what's really,
embarrassing dad. Like you're like, Dad, get
yeah.
off, get in, get your
But
jeans, they're wet.
what we've really seen here, and we see this a lot in the type of commentary that we get on our posts, it's very politicized,
Mhm.
the wellness industry. And again, it's it's this sort of like maha right wing. Now it's like raw milk, get
Yeah.
in the sauna with your jeans on inexplicably, eat a lot of meat and beef tallow. I don't know what
Yep.
that's about. And then, but then it's not a dissimilar mindset on the more sort of far left liberal wellness
Really?
people.
So it's
They're just choosing different things. They're saying like sun your asshole
yes.
and
Coffee
bizarre shit
enema.
like that, coffee enema. But
Oh
so
fuck.
a lot of the pushback that we get is from because we are very happy to criticize women, and in particular women clinicians or doctors, PhDs, women who should be on the side of women, you would hope, who are promoting wellness products, but often they're not. And we get a lot of pushback from other women being like, you need to support, why are we tearing down women? Why are you being so mean? And my sense is that those people are kind of more rightwardly leaning, less interested in, breaking down facts, less interested in anything that might give them some cognitive dissonance. I might be totally wrong, but that's
I
sort of
think
my feeling is that there's
I
a
think
subset. Yeah.
I think they think they're being feminist in a way, even though they would not use that word because
Yeah.
that's a
That's
bad
a bad
word,
word.
right wing.
Right.
But they think that they're being some kind of feminist when they support women, regardless of what said woman is actually doing, like their behaviors, their actions, their motives, right? Their
Isn't it wild
morals,
though
right?
that?
But it's like they just encountered this idea that they should support women yesterday, and they're just starting to understand like what does that actually mean, right?
Yeah,
What
so
does it
they
mean
get
to
their
really
new
fully
Instagram
support
account.
women?
But the
Yeah,
thing is, it's wild, isn't it? Because I feel like a lot of the wellness industry and a lot of the things that are marketed, especially towards women, and things like in perimenopause, takes the power away from women. Like,
Yep.
if somebody told me, and I have been told, maybe I've done something, I've bought the powders at one point probably, but like, your cortisol is high and
yeah.
this and that. So where do I start? Do I have to get rid of my kids? Because my two kids are definitely the source of the stress here. So do you know what I mean? Like it's these these non-tangible things that how can you possibly fix them? But they have a powder. So I feel like, because did you get a lot of backlash when you did the podcast with Amanda because you were talking about um, basically women who were selling a whole load of shit and doing a whole load of rubbish and that. And did you get backlash for that
We got
episode
some
with
negative
Amanda?
reviews. We got some negative
Yeah.
reviews. We got some comments. People might dislike Amanda more than they dislike Sarah and I,
Yeah, I love Amanda.
because
No,
she's
we're
been fighting
Amanda
the
Thebe. Yeah.
menopause for probably longer than we have actually.
No,
Um,
Amanda Thebe is brilliant and she's smart and funny and really on the side of women and trying to do the same work
Yeah.
that we're trying to do where we're just trying to fight back against the fact that the I can't remember, the wellness industry is $1 trillion industry, but I heard this last night and it of course fell right out of my head because have gone through menopause, that the segment of women at this point, population wise, between like 40 and 60 is some number like, or it's going to be in a few years from now, some number like 400 or 500 million women. So it's becoming this huge money making opportunity.
Yeah.
And in the vacuum that has existed for a long time of women, and particularly women of this age, getting good medical care, although thankfully that's changing, into that vacuum stepped all these people selling you solutions to your problems. Yeah. And we see people like Mary Claire Haver, who I personally despise more than any of them. I don't know why. She, for some reason, really gets under my skin. I think Laurel really despises Stacey Sims, and I really despise Mary Claire Haver.
Mega followers, though. Mega platforms. Isn't that scary?
Yeah, they're huge platforms.
They're massive. Huge. Oh yeah, they're massively successful.
They get both, a lot of like.
They are, but they're both people who, they were both people who lean heavily on their credentials. And perhaps when they first started what they were doing, were actually giving out information that was useful, that was new, that was helpful, right? But as the years have progressed, and I'm speaking specifically about Mary Claire Haver at this point, my feeling is she was shitty from the beginning. But as the years have progressed, it's become, they've all sort of drifted towards this wellness industry, because you can make so much more money selling bullshit products to women that they don't need by convincing them that they do need it than you do as a OBGYN, which is what she is, right? So, and I also think of it like people are always like, how do you know? How do you figure it out? We made a post called Doctors versus, how to know if it's a doctor versus a brand, that went massively viral. It just was insane. I think it really hit a nerve, but it basically delineates if someone's behaving like a doctor on Instagram versus if they're behaving like a brand on Instagram, and this sort of horrible crossover where doctors are behaving like brands. Mm-hmm. And there's so many sort of red flags that you can start to see. And especially if you learn what they are, you start to see them everywhere, right? It's like when you learn a new word and all of a sudden you read it everywhere. So part of what we try to do with our education is help women, not just tell them this person's good and this person's bad, but help them understand how to see that difference themselves. What are the warning signs? And there's lots of them. There's lots of like very grifty behavior that we just try to keep pointing out over and over again.
One of my warning signs about Stacey Sims is that she gets the most fundamental, basic information about muscle physiology wrong. Like if you took one semester of anatomy and physiology in college, you would know that a muscle fiber, the proteins within a muscle fiber, do not partially contract. It's called the all or nothing principle. It's a principle. Okay. Yeah. That's a big deal, right? We don't need to continue to study this anymore in research. We already know that it's true. And she's recorded podcasts with interviewers who ask her actually really good questions. Like recently, I saw something on Instagram where an interviewer asked her, so if someone joins the Marines and they can only do 10 push-ups, but then they can do 50 push-ups, did they not get stronger? Did they not build muscle? And Stacey Sims proceeds to give about a 2 to 3 minute answer where she bullshits her way and gets like 6 things wrong about basic muscle physiology, about the way that we have known for decades that muscles contract. And I'm so embarrassed for her. And I'm so sad for the people who take her advice. She's a PhD. Mm-hmm. She's caught in a question that runs counter to her brand narrative. And so she just plain either lies.
Shocking, no.
Or she doesn't fucking know.
I don't.
Which is worse, actually? Which is worse? I don't know. I almost think not knowing is worse at this point, because if you don't know the all or nothing principle of how muscles, like fibers, contract, and you're a PhD,
what were you doing?
Muscles, like what the fuck?
But like, look at her following, man. And then she was on Diary of a C. She just gets big platforms and then because she can do all this shit that user, and it's the kind of scroll stoppers. But here we are doing the stuff that really works, but. People go, it's boring. Nah, but it works, and then she's giving you all mad crazy shit. It's rubbish, isn't it?
It's rubbish.
Rubbish, and it's so clearly, if you follow her work long enough and you know at least a little bit about how it works, right? you can be a personal trainer and know like
Yeah,
that
well, you do get
mode
use the
of training that
basics.
she's
Yeah.
telling everyone to do is like not probably going to work for 95% of people. You know, you can see all that and you can go like she's obviously off base, but if you don't have that little bit of
Yeah.
information, that little bit of knowledge, right? That's her audience base then. She's attracting people who don't know very much, actually. She could not possibly attract people who do. And a
No.
lot of people actually follow her and then they learn a little bit and then they realize
What the
that
fuck?
this
Hmm.
doesn't make sense because these three people and what I've experienced now completely does not line up with what she's saying. So, oopsies, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
get out of her whole sphere of influence. And we see a lot of those comments too
Yeah.
in our posts where they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I followed her for 3 years and I was afraid of zone 2 cardio
Yeah,
and
but look at that shit, man. That's pure
and
predator
I got
material.
away from her and we're like, well, congratulations. Like you
You made it
survived.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
her audience base is clearly predominantly people other than her hate followers, of which I am one,
Oh,
predominantly people
get
who don't
off.
know very much about exercise or science or physiology. And they're coming to her because she has the PhD,
Yeah, she's got the big
sounds
platforms.
really
People are
confident,
vulnerable.
she's got jacked arms,
Hmm.
Does she have
so
jacked
she
arms?
must,
She
she
does
must
have
know.
jacked arms.
Oh yeah, she's jacked.
Yeah.
She's in good shape.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
there we
mean, it's
go.
this,
Physically,
yeah,
physically, she looks like she's in good shape. I actually have no idea how healthy she is.
right. She
Yeah.
appears, to the viewer. And the thing
Physically,
that's
she has.
frustrating, the thing that I find frustrating as well is you get people like Sims, like Mary Claire Haver, like Vonda Wright, like all of these predatory grifter people. They get on, they grow their platforms, they get on these podcasts like Mel
Yes.
Robbins or Huberman or whatever, and they'll be asked a question, they'll give their bullshit non-evidence based answer or like cherry picked evidence that actually totally falls apart when you look at it, and the interviewer typically is like, oh wow, I didn't know that, and then just
Yeah.
sort of moves on. So we're not seeing interviews being conducted where there's actually any like factual review happening, and it's not because they can't, right? Huberman and Mel Robbins are plenty successful enough to hire a fact checker who
Yes.
might just be there
Come
on
on.
the spot asking like, hey, actually it looks like this, what do you have to say about that? Which is, unlikely to ever happen, because then who's going to go on their podcast to promote their shit if they know that they're getting pushback?
Exactly.
But so that's frustrating. And it does feel sometimes like Laurel and I and you and people like us who are trying to push back against this tsunami of misinformation, it feels like you're trying to like use a toothpick to put toothpaste back in the tube, right? It feels like
Hmm.
there's just such a gigantic mountain of it. But I find rage to be very motivating. So like, as does Laurel. So when we are inspired, I'll text, like yesterday, I text Laurel and I was like, I am rage editing this new Instagram post that's going to go up
Sweating.
tomorrow. Right. Just like, so angry at it.
The other
So
thing too
that,
is that it takes an enormous amount of time to debunk misinformation. It's called
Yes.
the Brandolini's law, right? So the amount of time it takes to correct misinformation is, you know, a, an order of magnitude higher than it took to create it,
yeah.
right? And so, you know, Sarah editing Mary Claire Haver, misinterpretation and complete misrepresentation of menopause research. Me looking at Louisa Nicola's post on how you must lift heavy to
Yeah.
lower your brain age. And
I
if you
saw
look
that.
at this, you look at the study that she's sharing about, like clearly she did not read the study. There's no way she could have read the study. And she barely read the abstract. Because if you read the abstract, even, you know that she's not fully getting it right. And you read the study and you're like, you got to actually ask backwards. Because the study actually showed that lifting light and moderate weights pretty much both lowered brain
Yeah.
age compared to doing nothing. But her message was you have to lift heavy. Moderate didn't cut it. It's like,
No,
dude,
like, because it's like
you fucking didn't read
stoppage.
that.
That's the problem. You've got a ring light and you've got a phone, and those are dangerous things to have these days. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, did you ever see the one where it was like menopause eats your brain?
Eats your brain.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
Louisa Nicola. That was
Yep.
Louisa Nicola. And what's the urologist's name? I can't believe she's a
Oh,
urologist.
Kelly Casperson.
Yeah,
Kelly Casperson's a urologist that pushes
Yeah.
testosterone.
It's really
testosterone,
wild.
mega, mega,
I know.
mega.
We haven't
Why
done a
are
big
you a
takedown on her.
urologist?
Yeah.
A
We've yet
urine
to do she's
bladder
on our
doctor?
list of
Are
people to
you
do a
going to get
takedown.
her? What do you think
Oh,
of that
sure.
testosterone chat?
It's horseshit.
She
It's total
scares
horseshit.
me.
Oh, horseshit. I mean, it's
Well,
not totally
so
horseshit,
Well,
right?
no. So let me clarify. What she is claiming testosterone can do for you is unproven. The only thing that is proven with testosterone is that it can improve libido in women. There is no FDA approved or whatever board approved product for women at the moment. So people who are prescribing it are sort of guessing at the dosage based off of products that are made for men. But she is saying it will not only, libido is on her list, but so is like, brain health. And like she lists all of the things that might be going wrong or going downhill as you get older, as you're going through menopause, right? Irritability, loss of muscle mass, loss of bone density, da, 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 da. There is absolutely zero research that proves that any of those things are impacted by testosterone. The only use it's actually approved for women is libido. And if listeners want someone who really knows about testosterone, who is not Kelly Casperson, to follow, Professor Susan Davis, who is Australian, is basically like the world expert. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but she's like given her life to researching.
You're not exaggerating.
What? Yeah. So if people are like, well, I liked Kelly Casperson up until you started taking a dump on her, go follow Professor Susan Davis.
Isn't it wild though that you can write, so you're on your Instagram and then you watch Kelly's stuff and she's like, did it, and then you scroll down 2 seconds and then you've got the real experts saying other, like, you do, is people are like seriously confused. It's like getting a drink out of a power hose trying to get health information. That is the ultimate, and it's vulnerable people. It's people who are going through menopause who maybe their sex drive is low. It's starting to affect their relationship. They're like, oh, here. Then they see Kelly and they're like, this bird's got the solution for me.
Yeah,
it's sad.
It is definitely the best type of way to misrepresent science is find like a real gap and a real need and something that kind of taps into people's identity and emotional experience,
Yes.
and then exploit it.
Yeah.
And so sex drive, all the symptoms of menopause, loss of muscle and capacity, like these are all like real fears. They're also real problems in the medical system that have gone unaddressed. It's true. So then it's really easy to sweep in with bad science, misinformation, disinformation. Now there's a lot of disinformation around birth control, right? Coming from these influencers who lean right, who are buddy buddy with Maha. And so now they're spreading all of these lies around like how birth control can harm you in these various ways that are completely unsubstantiated and unproven, and they're making it very black and white. And of course, because of that, a lot of women will go off birth control and they'll end up getting pregnant and not wanting the pregnancy, and then either having to go to term because they're maybe living in a state where now abortion is illegal, right? It's like you are seriously and irreparably harming women with misinformation. So when people come into our comments and like, why are you tearing women down? I'm like, why are you defending a woman who is irreparably harming women with misinformation? Misinformation is a major public health crisis right now. And if you aren't willing to see that, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, but that is ultimately it, isn't it? It's like, and then people like you and Amanda it really is like pushing water up a hill, isn't it? It's quite tough going.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
but again,
it's so slick and sophisticated.
Yeah.
But it's not just,
and again, it's much easier to create misinformation than it is to debunk and correct.
Yeah,
but it's not dissimilar. I mean, we talked about a little bit sort of like charismatic leaders and cult tactics and things like that. You get these women who have become celebrities in their own sphere, right?
Yeah.
Frickin' Mary Claire Haver is doing a lecture at like a concert hall near me. And I was very tempted to buy a ticket and go, but I don't want to support her. But the fact that, you know, they're on Oprah, they are on all these
Yes.
big platforms, and they're charismatic. They seem like they have a solution to your problem that has not yet been addressed by the medical world. And you want to believe it, right? You want to believe that, like, this woman out there, she's a woman, she knows what it's like, she's been through what I've been through, and she's got the answer for me, and it's only $150 a month. Great. You know, I mean, it's a very, we talked about this with Amanda about MIDI Health, which is this company that just is so clearly become like the yoga works of telehealth for women, where they're just absolutely now, whereas at one point they were actually legitimately helping people get prescriptions and you know, actual medical things that they needed. Now they've branched into sort of wellness land. They've hired Mary Claire Haver as their chief, what is it, aging officer or
There
something?
you go.
Some bullshit
What
made
a,
up,
what a
like,
fucking good gig though,
yeah,
for
right. I
somebody to
mean,
talk shit.
exactly. And founded by a woman who, Amanda also then after our interview told us that the woman who, I'm blanking on her name, but the woman who founded MIDI Health also was behind basically this thing that was like Weight Watchers for children.
Wow.
And so the grift goes deep, right? The very like sliding ethical principles that you're just very willing to kind of muddy that to make money, you know. And we live in a capitalist society. Of course, the ultimate goal that we have been taught is to get as rich as you can, and kind of like, you know, in some cases, fuck the consequences, right? So it's a very lucrative, I mean, shit, Laurel and I would be fucking millionaires, and
Same. I
all
was
we have
just
to
thinking
do
if we could come
is
up with
come up
something new.
with some kind of product, right? We made a joke video with Amanda about estrogen toothpaste because we were like, well, they just want to put estrogen in everything, you know.
Yes.
But I bet if we actually made estrogen
Could we?
toothpaste, some people would buy it,
Oh yeah.
right?
Isn't
You
it
know,
funny
like,
though that they get like we can't do that? Like, listen, we all want to make money, but I can't do it in the way that, you know, good old
because,
Stacey
well, you
Sims be
have
doing it.
principles,
We have principles,
Moral
but it's
right?
shit,
flexibility.
isn't it, used
It's
to?
moral flexibility. I mean, I think I try to give everybody a chance, you know, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not perfect on, you know, every day of the week. I'm not perfect, right? But some people continuously choose to hurt people and lie
Well, they
and
know.
you know, manipulate and get it wrong again and again and again. And it's like, you know what? You have to at a certain point, you know, watch what people do and start believing them, right? When they
Right.
show you who they are, right? That saying, when they show you who they
Mm-hmm.
are, believe them. Um, these
Yeah.
people are not good people. They are
No.
not.
Yeah.
Good people don't continue to get it wrong. So if this CEO of MIDI starts this weight loss program for children in with good intentions and figures out that actually it did more harm than good, and that the entire basis for her creating the program was flawed, and she goes, you know what, I was wrong and I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to try to do better now. I'm going to try to actually help
Yeah,
people. That's the sign of a good person,
that
because
is fine, but
perfect,
no.
right? But no, she's doing it again, right?
Yeah,
She's manipulating women, exploiting women. She's using bad science to support treatments that will not help but will drain your wallet. She's doing it under the guise of pseudo-feminism, under the guise of let's help you through your menopause symptoms. It's really just a money grab, because now this is a venture capitalist company, I believe, where
Yeah.
investors now need like a you know, multiple times more than they've
yeah, we have
invested.
targets now.
They want to see in profits, right?
Yeah,
So the whole thing is extractive. The whole model is meant to really just take as much as you can out of people, not help people. You can't help people and get rich, unfortunately. It
it's
seems.
dark, isn't it?
I mean, actually, I
Dark.
think you can, but probably not in the health.
And
The
a
health.
lot of a slower, in a slower way. I don't know. Over here in Scotland, it's very, people are complacent with their health. It's a tough
Yeah,
crowd over here,
you
man. Yeah, it's a
do.
Yeah.
tough crowd. They want the quick fixes, like
Yeah.
they don't want to put the work in. You want, you know, and I get the feeling of
So
wanting to evacuate your body because you're unhappy, so you can be vulnerable to these things that people are selling. That is a quick fix. I get that, but it is like quite difficult over here, like you say, to be balling, be like yes, because you're that honest health person.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
think
bringing in the
it's
cash, you two.
possible.
Let's
You're
come
not
up
going to
with
make
matcha enemas.
yeah, you're not going to make the type of money that MIDI Health is
No,
Yeah. No, you're
ever
never,
going
because the
that's
things that
sad.
actually help people live a healthy life are very, very inexpensive and not things that you can really,
Yeah,
apart from helping, like
go a
be,
walk.
helping people exercise or whatever, but literally it could be absolutely free. So there's no, well, that's not true, but I mean, it can be done without giving money to somebody else to tell you how to do it, kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
but that's not interesting to people because, as humans, we're built to be inert whenever necessary because our brain and our lizard brain wants to conserve energy, wants to keep us alive, right? So there's always this component of inertia to get over, whether it is, oh shit, I don't really feel like working out today, or oh shit, I don't really feel like getting off the couch ever. And so it's so much more appealing to people to be like, oh, I could stay lying on the couch, hit this button, buy this product. It's going to
yeah,
come here and I'm going to just eat it. And I already eat things. So I'll just eat some more things.
yeah, easy.
Right. So that is definitely something that's challenging. And it's not that people don't know. People know that they need to exercise more and eat healthy. It's not a mystery to people. And I think that's something that some people get wrong. Like they think, oh, well, we got to educate people on the fact that they need to exercise. If they don't, like it's everywhere, right? People know that, but there are also what's called social determinants to health. And so for a lot of people, in this country in particular, and especially now, because we're in the middle of this like very inflation based time where prices of everything have gone up, they maybe don't have the time or they don't have the ability to hire a babysitter while they go exercise, or they don't, there's lots and lots of reasons why people aren't meeting these exercise goals or food goals, right? So it's not I don't think it's not so much that it's a lack of education. It's the fact that we've created a society that's made it very hard to even attempt to achieve those goals for certain people in certain populations. And we've made it very easy to get junk food delivered to your house
Yeah.
that's cheaper, right? So
Oh,
it's,
100% cheaper.
so we've not created a society that is supportive of people making healthy choices.
No.
We've created a society that's supportive of capitalists coming in and selling shit to people. And, people have gotten very good at standing in front of a study and pointing at it. I would guess most people watching them do not then bother to go look at the study and actually read it, let alone have the ability to interpret it and understand what the study actually said. So we have a room for a lot of this like pseudoscientific behavior that drives the wellness industry and drives profits. And until there's literally, people get mad about big pharma.
Yeah, but it's so
There's,
clever because look.
yeah, big wellness, first of all, is so much bigger, right? The difference
Yeah.
between $1 billion and $1 trillion
Yeah.
is like, the difference between one second and 10,000 seconds,
Yeah.
right? It's a huge difference, but it's completely unregulated. And people are now starting to see a little bit, or at least the people that I see in my Instagram feed, which is obviously very, the algorithm shows me things I want to see, but there are more people starting to understand that the wellness industry in a lot of ways is a lot more dangerous
Yeah.
than
We're
the
suspicious.
pharmaceutical industry, because there's no
Yeah.
oversight. So, there's now peptides are like this hot thing, but there's like absolutely
We've
zero
got
regulation.
that's
And in
over here
fact,
too.
yeah, and RFK there was like 4 peptides that he basically were like, that's fine, go ahead and take them. Like they took away some sort of regulation about them, right? So they're making it even easier for people to buy these unregulated products.
Wow.
Studies
Yeah.
on rats so far, no human trials.
On
Good.
peptides.
So
Great.
everyone taking peptides is basically about like a
But
rat.
that is massive. I'm seeing loads of that
Just
now. I'm seeing loads of the influencers
happens.
now. Have you had any sort of companies get in touch with you to sell stuff and
Oh,
things like
all the
that?
time.
Yeah, I get it as well. But have you
I
had
get,
any
yeah,
like skinny jab ones or
We
I
like
get a
get the
lot of
ones,
like, I'll
yeah.
get like functional medicine doctors or integrative naturopaths
Have they
or
seen the Instagrams?
acupuncturists, and they'll connect with us, and or like chiropractors with like some new magical approach to
Yeah,
I mean, I see those, that's what stands out to me. We don't get a lot of supplement
I
offers.
do.
You do as a
I
PT.
do. As a PT,
Okay.
I do.
I get all of it. I get the
Hundreds of it.
supplements. I get the, hey, do you want to start selling the GLP-1s? I get
Yes.
all of that stuff constantly. And I actually just went on, and I was inspired by Amanda Thebe, who did this herself. But I was like, let's see if I can just go on some sort of, company like MIDI Health or Alloy and get myself some GLP-1. Why not?
Yeah.
And
You
I
just tell a
basically
little fib.
did. I
Yeah.
basically did. I just told a tiny fib
Yep.
about exactly how much I weighed.
hmm
And they were like, no problem. Here you go.
So what are your
So
guys' views on this then now? Like, how is it over in America? Like, are people here taking it to drop a dress size and stuff?
mhm,
Is
yeah,
that the
it's,
same
oh yeah,
happening?
it's really bad here. And we're seeing a lot of it in celebrities. We're seeing a lot of
Yes.
famous actresses who are suddenly very like frighteningly painfully skinny, the way that we saw in the 1990s
Yes.
and the era of heroin chic,
Yep.
right? We're seeing a lot of that again. There's a lot of skinny talk, right? There's a lot of people out there who are already thin, trying to teach you how to be even thinner. My understanding is that this kind of rise of the skinny woman appeal goes hand in hand with this kind of more fascist political environment that we find ourselves in. That the idea is let's suppress women
Let's
in
shrink
every
them,
possible
yeah.
way, right? So we
Spend our
take
money
away their
on.
access. We take away their access to abortion care and other health care. We take away their right to live their own lives and make money, right? This whole trad woman phenomenon. And we tell them that it's better to be tiny, tiny and skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend your
It's
money
all a
on
form
beauty
of,
standards that
yeah,
you can't really ever meet.
Systems of control, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's like the beauty standards are like set by dudes. Well, there you go. But it's unbelievable over here now, and I'm really sad because there was a wee period of time where it was like women were wanting to get strong. I don't know if you've noticed, like I was getting women going, no, I want like bigger shoulders. And back when I was 19, it was women talking about the thigh gap and all that. So for years I hadn't. Now it's starting to come back in, and I'm gutted about that. Do you know what I mean? Because I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
I've got two daughters, so I want them to grow up like, big vagina energy, strong. I don't want them to grow up where it's like, how many ribs can we count though? Because that
Yeah.
means that you have a place in society. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
really tough. So you're the same then over there,
back on the
microdosing.
have you heard of microdosing
Yeah.
GLP-1s?
Yeah.
There's no good evidence for that.
There's zero evidence. Yeah.
And a lot of people are doing that. Like I work with clients who've been given GLP-1s by their naturopaths
Yeah.
as a microdose.
Mm-hmm.
And at the expense of not, I don't want to alienate them by just like fire hose blasting my
Yeah.
opinion on them right away. But, slowly over time, when you work with a client, you work on them little by little by way of building trust, right? And by way of like showing them what they can do and helping them shift their identity through action. And then eventually you can kind of slip in the door like, hey,
Yeah.
so this whole thing about the microdosing, or you happen to get on the topic, or sometimes they ask, right? Because now they trust you and they want to know what you think about it. And then you can say, well, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
There's no evidence for that.
Correct.
It's all of this happening, in the microcosm of our interpersonal relationships with clients has to happen by way of building trust and getting to know someone on a human level. And I think that's where we can affect like probably the biggest change of all, but it's going to take coaches knowing what is and isn't evidence-based, and it's going to take coaches caring enough to learn the difference between what is pseudoscience and strongly supported. So again, it kind of all comes down, I think, to education. But on social media, we're winning hearts and minds, right? It's a battle for attention.
Yes.
And so
Do you think we need to
Sarah and I
fight?
kind of walk that fine line of like, this is going to get attention and it's going to educate, but like it's maybe more important that it gets attention, right? So how can we
Yeah,
actually
I need to do the
attention?
same. I need to like decide. That's what I'm saying. Do you think us three should just get our tits out and just do some crazy,
Sure. I mean,
I
my
mean,
tits are fake, so I have
even better?
phenomenal Los
Lucky
Angeles
bastard.
cosmetic surgeon boobs. Like I have
We'll write
boobs that
facts
dreams are
across
made of.
them.
Unfortunately, I only have one nipple though, so that's I.
Listen, that could
But I'm
get more
wondering, I
attention.
should
There'll be a crowd for that.
absolutely, and I think actually I've missed an entire money making opportunity by not having a OnlyFans account that's about like just having
Yes,
one nipple because there's
million
definitely
percent. You could
somebody
have
out
an eye
there
patch and
that's what
different
I could do.
things on that
Oh
nipple.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could
I
make a
mean, I could get like a
fortune.
tassel,
Fuck
like
this
a
health shit, yous. We're not going to make money being honest here. We're going to need to go on OnlyFans now. God's
yeah.
sake.
I know.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you
I
go
gotta
enjoy
get
your
going.
morning. Oh,
I gotta get going in like three
Yeah, I do
minutes.
too.
yeah, you go. Thank you so much for coming on, yous.
Oh, it's
We're
our
fighting the
pleasure.
good fight. Hopefully, we cross
Yeah,
paths again.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
absolutely.
I will let you tell my enemas story if you want. You can tell it tonight. You
Pass
can
along your
tell
wisdom.
people. Yeah, it's terrible,
I
terrible
mean,
story.
maybe actually to get attention, the three of us should do a live where we are all doing coffee enemas at the same time
Do you
and just
want
sort
to?
of like
Naked.
definitely naked. Oh yeah, of course. That
Yeah,
goes
well,
without
yeah. You,
saying.
you need to get those fake do's out. We'll do something. No, I'll come up with a wee weird skit for us to do on
I love
Instagram at
it.
some point, right?
Absolutely.
Right. You two take care. Thanks so much for giving me
Thank
your
you.
time today. Take care,
Thank
girls.
you
Speak
very
soon.
Thanks you.
much.
Okay.